Hello, welcome. Today we are continuing with bipolar junction transistor. We shall discuss today about the transistor biasing, need for stabilization, fixed biasing, merits and demerits of fixed biasing, collector to base feedback biasing, merits and demerits of collector to base feedback biasing, voltage divider biasing, BJT as an amplifier and as a switch. The transistor biasing is a process to maintain the transistor operating point unchanged due to the variation in ambient temperature, PBE, beta. Now this is important because when the transistor is properly biased, that means the base emitter junction has been forward biased and collector base junction has been reverse biased, still there are certain questions that there are leakage current which is temperature dependent. Now if there is a temperature variation exist around the device, then there might have a change in collector leakage current, and that is directly proportional to the collector current. So therefore, if there is a rise or fall in the collector leakage current, that will hamper the normal operation of the transistor. Similarly, if there is a component that is transistor exist in a particular electronic device and it is working wrongly, that means the malfunction exists in a particular transistor, if needed to be replaced, then sometimes those transistors are replaced by the by another transistor which are of same company as well as same make. Still there are some variations in the PBE or beta because for the same company, same make, the transistors are having small variations in the base emitter voltage as well as beta. But these are important parameters which are used to set the operating point fixed at some reference value. So if there is a variation in the base emitter voltage or beta shifts the operating point, then the normal operation of the transistor will be hampered. Faithful amplification is the process of obtaining complete portion of the input signal by increasing the applied signal strength. Now the necessary condition for faithful amplification is that the zero signal collector current must be at least the collector current due to the application of signal alone. Because when the biasing is not made, if I apply an input signal, the base emitter junction will be forward biased and we are getting some peak value of the output current. Now this current should be available, that means DC collector current should be available with its peak value when there is no external signal is applied. That means under the zero application signal, we should have at least the collector current giving the magnitude must be greater than or equal to the magnitude of collector current if there is no biasing set for a particular amplifier. So such a condition is the necessary condition to reach the faithful amplification. The transistor biasing is the extent to which uh, the collector stability factor is one of the important part of the transistor biasing. The extent to which the collector current IC is stabilized with varying collector leakage current is measured by a stability factor S. It is defined as the rate of change of collector current IC with respect to the collector leakage current ICO. So therefore, a small change in collector leakage current will produce what is the amount of change in collector current is recorded, known as the stability factor. If such stability factor produces large value, that means the collector current has significant dependency on the collector leakage current. So therefore, we should take some necessary precautions in the circuit so that the stability factor should reach the lowest value. Normally for common emitter configuration, we can write the current equations IC equal to beta IB plus 1 plus beta into ICO. ICO is the leakage current expression under the common base configuration. If we compare the common base and common emitter current equations, we can write this equation. From this equation, if we take the differentiation with respect to the collector current both sides, then we can get the expression for stability factor is equal to beta plus 1 by 1 minus beta dIB dIC. So it should be, we should ensure the proper zero signal collector current. It should ensure that the collector emitter voltage does not fall below 0.5 volt for germanium transistors and 1 volt for silicon transistors at any instant. It should ensure the stabilization of operating point. So there are some types of transistor biasing which will be discussed here are the base resistor method, also known as the fixed biasing, biasing with collector feedback resistor method, also known as feedback biasing, and voltage divider biasing. The need for stabilization is an important part of the transistor biasing. Why we need stabilization? Because we need to reduce the stability factor. So for this, the condition, the technical parameters which has importance are the temperature dependency of the collector current. The collector current IC of a common emitter circuit is normally given by IC equal to beta IB plus ICEO. Now this ICEO is the common emitter leakage current and ICBO is the common base leakage current. So therefore, if we compare these two configuration, we can get IC equal to beta IB plus 1 plus beta into ICBO. So here the temperature dependency of IC stands for the temperature dependency of the ICBO, which is a leakage current, and it gets double for every 10-degree rise in temperature. So therefore, if ICBO gets double for 10 degrees Celsius rise in temperature, that will increase the collector current to a large value, and large amount of collector current will produce high temperature in the transistor, which will in turn change ICBO to some large value. So therefore, in this way, the cyclic process will be go on. So temperature of the transistor may go beyond the value, some limiting value for which the transistor will be unstable to operate, and the transistor could be burning out. So this is known as the thermal runaway. The collector current for a common emitter configuration, which is given by the equation. From this we can get the equation of stability factor, and we have to take necessary condition to bring the stability factor at its low value. And there are individual parametric variation, that means beta, VBE, these are the transistor parameter variation. These are changing from one transistor to another transistor when we are picking up from the same company as well as same model. So therefore, such variation should not hamper the normal operation of the transistor. That means the transistor reference point, that is the quiescent point, required to be fixed and independent on the variations of beta and VBE. Under the fixed biasing technique, the base is connected to a resistor which is connected to the DC supply voltage. Therefore, this configuration shows the base current remains constant and it is not dependent on the change in collector current. So if there is a change in collector current, that will not change the base current, and if the beta is constant, so IC equal to beta IB, collector current has to constant. So if there is a small change in base current is occurring, since IC equal to beta IB, so if there is a change in base current, then the base emitter voltage is constant. So it will change with proportionate way, so that the overall voltage due to the base emitter junction and due to the voltage drop across RB will remain constant, because that is equal to the supply voltage VCC. So if there is a rise in base current, the base emitter voltage has to reduce to adjust the summation of the input terminal voltage, that is IB, RB plus VB, should be equal to constant. The other equations are written for the output circuit, that is VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. So therefore, collector emitter voltage, uh, which is the output voltage, if we take the sum of collector emitter voltage with ICRC, that is also the supply voltage. But the main importance is at the input side, that is IBRB plus VBE equal to constant, that means VCC. So if there is a change in IB, the VBE has to change to bring the base current to its normal value, and hence the collector current will be under control. But this configuration is not uh, an intelligent system, because in this case the base current with respect to collector current variation is 0. So that is why DIB DIC component is 0. Therefore, A is equal to 1 plus beta, and we are getting the stability factor is constant, but it is equal to beta plus 1. So as beta is normally having very high value, the stability factor might have a very high value. So therefore, this system will be suitable for the stability factor for the current gain beta with a low value. So if beta is low, A is equal to beta plus 1 will be low. So for current gain not more than 25 of a transistor, this configuration will be useful, or this fixed biasing will be useful. The merits and demerits of fixed biasing are: the advantages are this biasing circuit is a very simple, as only one resistor RB is required. Biasing conditions can easily be set and the calculations are simple. There is no loading of the source by the biasing circuit, since no resistor is employed across base emitter junction. And there are certain limitations which are telling that this method provides poor stabilization. It is because there is no means to stop a self increase in collector current due to temperature rise and individual variations. For example, if beta increases due to transistor replacement, then IC also increases by the same factor as IB is constant. The stability factor is very high, therefore there are strong chances of thermal runaway. Due to these disadvantages, this method of biasing is rarely employed. The collector current to base current base feedback resistor biasing is an intelligent biasing technique in which a branch of resistor is taken from the collector terminal and connected to the base region. So therefore, the current flowing through the resistor RC is nothing but the summation of IC and IB. Thereafter, collector current goes to the collector terminal and the base current is divided into the base terminal. So here, if we see the total voltage, that is collector to base voltage is nothing but the voltage drop due to the resistor RB, and the collector emitter voltage is the summation of base emitter voltage and collector to base voltage. So if IC increases, that will cause the rise in voltage across RC. So if the voltage rises across RC, that will, so from this equation, that will decrease the voltage drop across RB, as IB will be reduced, because if IC increases, IB has to reduce to make the summation of the voltage equal to VCC. So this is the vertical line which is having the voltage equal to VCC. So therefore, all the components of this KVL should be properly adjusted so that the summation will be remain constant at VCC. So base emitter voltage is constant, therefore IB RB has to reduce, otherwise the summation of the voltage will not be equal to VCC. So that is why if IC increases, IB has to reduce, and as beta equal to IC by IB, so therefore IC has to reduce to bring back to its original value. There are few merits and demerits of the collector to base feedback biasing. It is simple method as it is requiring only one resistance RB. This circuit provides some stabilization of the operating point as discussed below, that means VC equal to VBE plus VCB. And there are some limitations. The circuit does not provide good stabilization because stability factor is fairly high, though it is lesser than the fixed bias. Therefore, the operating point does change, although to lesser extent due to temperature variations and other effects. The circuit provides a negative feedback which reduces the gain of the amplifier as explained hereafter. During the positive half cycle of the signal, the increased collector current would result in greater voltage drop across RC. This will reduce the base current and hence collector current. And this is the voltage divider biasing, in which there are two number of resistors R1 and R2 are employed at the input side. So the voltage, that is the VCC, is connected over R1 and RC are connected. So when the current is flowing through R1, most of the current is flowing through R2, as the branching current IB is very small, can be ignored. So here, if we check, I1 is equal to VCC by R1 plus R2, and V2 is equal to VCC by R1 plus R2 into R2. So if the IB is flowing into the base terminal, therefore V2 forward biases the base emitter junction, and the IB flows into the base terminal. So therefore, if we find the expression of stability factor S, we can easily find out the expression can be reduced to the value beta plus 1 if R0 by RE is very small, where R0 is the parallel combination of R1 and R2. The bipolar junction transistor may be used as an amplifier as well as switch. So this is the explanation for BJT, which has application as amplifier as well as switch. If we check the output versus input characteristics, we can easily find out that initially the output is having very high voltage VCC when the input voltage is small. So when the input voltage reaches 0.5, there is a transition that starts from Y to Z in the output voltage. So when this transition is occurring, it is not a sharp transition or sharp fall. It has a slope, and this slope determines the operating point. So Q is the operating point, that is the reference point, centering which we are getting the variation of the AC signal, which is obtained at the output. So when the transistor is working in the XY domain, the transistor is under off condition. So if Vi is less than 0.5 volt, the transistor is off. If the Vi is more than 1.0, then we can say the transistor is under on condition. So therefore, cutoff, active mode and saturation has been properly explained. Active mode ends when V0 falls by 0.4 volt below the Vi. CBJ junction turns on and BJT is in saturation region at point Z. In saturation, V0 equal to VCE equal to VCE saturation, that means 0.1 to 0.2 volt. IC saturation is equal to VCC minus VCE saturation divided by RC. So this saturation current determines whether the transistor is working under the saturation or not. In saturation, BJT exhibit very small RCE saturation between the collector and emitter. So therefore, the transistor application as amplifier and switch are the most important part of the discussion, where we can see various parametric variations when the transistor is operating as either switch or amplifier. And also we can notice from this slide that the input is having very small amount of variation. That means almost 10% of variation of its peak to peak value from Y to Z. And corresponding output variation is much larger, which is shown by V0. So thank you for today's discussion.